Hello, my name is Adil Sulik and I'm a student of SEA 2207 group, and today I want to present for you my research that I made for the topic of psychological impact of video games on students. Research target, the goal was to investigate how students feel the impact of video games, and by getting these results it will give an opportunity to also get some another research which will have the responses from older person, and by comparison by comparing their answers it will allow to us to make some conclusions about the real situation of the impact of video games, because to make an objective conclusion we need to look to the situation from many points of views. And for this, one of the best research method the survey was chosen is an appropriate method for this case, because it allows to cover big auditory and, what's the most important, to generalize their opinion and make some conclusion what we need to get from this. There is 10 survey questions which will help us to make some conclusions about the impact of video games on students psychological condition, and below it will show the analysis of this research. Well, firstly, as a result, it was found that every respondent student has intention with video games, and most of them know what about this saying, and all of them play video games with some different periods, but they play in it. After that, it was studied about what respondents think about the impact of video games on students, and all of them agreed that video games exactly have impact, and only difference was in the degree of this impact. And it was covered that most of respondents think that the best benefit of video games are the stress release, and the biggest drawback is an addiction. And it was stated that drawbacks has mostly effects on person in comparison with benefits. And from the other side, it was studied about myths which has around the video games, that they can increase the violence in people and the level of aggression. However, most of respondents think that this myth, and it's not related to video games, or video games can be a secondary but not main cause for violence, and it cannot be connected directly with some strategies such as school shooting or bullying. And also the stereotypes by respondents telling lots of yes, there are a lot. And here also representation about the influence of video games, how they can change people's mind, that they undoubtedly do this, but in a rare cases. And that's it. Thank you for attention. Thank you for